Greetings. My name is Patricia Herrera, and as VP for Awards, I have the great privilege to welcome you to ASTR's 2020 Awards Ceremony. Usually we would do this in person while enjoying each other's company and eating lunch, but under the circumstances, we've had to make some adjustments. In the spirit of acknowledging, honoring, and celebrating the brilliant work of our colleagues and their immense contribution to our field, we have put together a little video awards announcement that we hope you will enjoy.
It is my pleasure to award the 2020 ASTR Grant for Researchers with Heavy Teaching Loads to Dr. Maisha Akbar for her proposed research project #StaySafe, a Black blues woman matters in a COVID era. Dr. Akbar is an associate professor in the Visual and Performing Arts Department at Fort Valley State University. She receives this award in recognition of her teaching and service responsibilities to her institution and the field, and for the innovative methodology and form of her research project as Black feminist performance-based scholarship. The committee felt Dr. Akbar's urgent project advances our field in vital ways towards greater equity, rigor, and creativity in how it studies race, gender, and performance. Congratulations, Dr. Akbar.
My name is Carla Delegata, and I am here to present the ASTR Collaborative Research Award, designed to foster exchange of research across different academic and community contexts. This year, the award goes to Jasmine Mahmoud of Seattle University, Megan Geigner from Northwestern University, and Stuart Hecht from Boston College to support collaborative virtual exchange, presentations, and editing on their co-edited collection entitled Makeshift Chicago Stages, A Century of Theater and Performance, under contract with Northwestern University Press. The collection brings together 10 scholars who attend to storefront theaters, converted performance venues, and marginal spaces that informed ethnic, racial, and spatial dynamics in Chicago's theaters, aesthetics, and practices. The book's thematic focus on spatiality will be mirrored in the cross-chapter maps that this award will help to fund. Congratulations, Jasmine, Megan, and Stuart, and thank you for your contribution to the field.
It's my honor to present this year's winners of the Helen Krich Chinoy Dissertation Research Fellowship. It was a pleasure to read, along with my committee members, the innovative, thoughtful, and ethical work being done by graduate students across the country, and their work makes us very excited for the future of the field. Thank you to all who applied. Our winners this year are Clara Wilch for the project Ice in Motion, Emma Squire for the project It's a Yiddish Theater, You Know, and Elyse Singer for a project on gestures of female madness. Congratulations to all of you, and we look forward to seeing your work develop in your dissertations and beyond.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a different kind of an ASTR where we are virtual this time, and yet recognizing all the amazing research work that our discipline has been engaged in over the past year. My name is Arnav Banerjee. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Theater Arts at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, and I had the pleasure of chairing the Research Awards Committee for the ASTR Awards for this year. However, this year was exceptionally hard for me on account of a variety of reasons. So I would hereby like to acknowledge the yeoman's job that my colleagues in this committee, Professor Chloe Johnston, as well as Professor Mina Kwon, did in terms of coming at decisions, tabulating all the results, and in general, taking over a lot of the responsibilities of the committee. I am truly appreciative and grateful for this wonderful gesture from these colleagues of mine, as well as thankful to Professor Patricia Herrera, who was just so amazingly patient with me. And now on to the important stuff, the awards. We do have some awards to give out, and we are really, really grateful that the applicants chose to share these amazing works that they have been doing with us, with this committee. So the first award that this committee would like to give out is the Brooks McNamara Publishing Subvention, and the award goes to Ariel Nereson from the University of Buffalo, a part of the State University of New York system, and it is for her project titled Democracy Moving, Bill T. Jones' Contemporary American Performance and the Racial Past. We wish Professor Nereson all the best with her project and hope to see it in print very soon. Thank you so much. The next award that this committee is in charge of is the Research Fellowships, the annual ASTR Research Fellowships. And this year, the committee was unanimous in its decision to support 2 research projects for this award, for this recognition. And the first one of them is by Areum Jeong. I am hopefully pronouncing that name correctly, who's from Sichuan University, the Pittsburgh Institute, and it is for her research project called Performing Documentative Imagination. It is on the Seoul tragedy from nearly a decade ago in near Seoul, South Korea. It is a very intriguing project, and we wish her all the luck for the work with this project. The second research fellowship is awarded to a book project, Games and Theatre in Shakespeare's England. There were 3 editors of this project: Erika Lin from the Graduate Center, City University of New York, Gina Bloom from University of California, Davis, and Tom Bishop from the University of Auckland. Again, we are really happy and that this group of editors chose to share their work and their project with us, and we wish them all the luck with this project. Thank you. The committee was also charged with disbursing targeted research area grants, and again, the committee unanimously decided to split the targeted research area grant for this year amongst 3 applicants. The first of which is by Shondrika Moss-Bouldin, who's an independent scholar and artist, and it is to support her work, Heal Sister Heal, Empowering Black Women Through Dance and Theatrical Practice. As Shondrika mentioned, this is an area of research that hasn't received a lot of attention, so we wish her all the luck with this project and hope to learn so much more from her project in the coming years. Thank you so much, Shondrika. The second targeted research area grant goes to Professor Emine Fisek, who is at the Bogazici University in Turkey, and her project is Remembering Istanbul, Theater, Memory, and Gentrification. Thank you so much, Professor Fisek, for sharing this research with us. We look forward to learning more about it. Thank you so much. The final targeted research area grant goes to Professor Niki Alsford, who's at the University of Central Lancashire, for their project Machuchu and the Whale, Amis Origin Performance and the Denial of Cultural Heritage. We are really excited about the new knowledge that this research project hopes to unearth about a little-known Pacific Islander community, and we look forward to the findings of this research. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who turned in their applications, who allowed this committee to consider your amazing cutting-edge research for an ASTR recognition. And good luck with applicants for next year, and good luck with winners with all your research projects in this really unusual year. Thank you so much. Again, this is Arnav Banerjee from Loyola Marymount University on behalf of the ASTR Research Grant and Research Awards Subcommittee. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Will Daddario, and I have the honor of awarding this year's ASTR Cambridge University Press Prize to Lindsay Gose for her paper, Crisis Actors. Gose's paper offers a compelling interpretation of the meaning of persistent theatrical language in the political sphere, and more broadly, the meaning of the theatrical and performative elements of protest movements. The committee members found the paper to make a significant contribution to the theoretical explorations of the meaning of theatrical concepts in contemporary political discourse, and to suggest important functions that theatrical resources serve in political communication. In other words, the paper is timely and oddly prescient, since don't we all find ourselves serving in the role of crisis actors in the present? Congratulations, Lindsay. Good work.
The Gerald Cahan Scholars Prize honors the best essay published in a refereed scholarly journal by an untenured scholar or doctoral student. This year's winner is Chelsea Phillips for Bodies in Play, Maternity, Repertory, and the Rival Romeo and Juliet's 1748 to 51, which was published in Theater Survey. Phillips shows us how much repertoire and production practice can be gleaned from the archive in a meticulously researched historiography of actresses' labor in both senses of the word. This essay is a page-turner, reading, as one committee member put it, like a celebrity gossip magazine in the best possible way. It tells a story of a perfect scale to be tackled in a standalone essay, with resonances reaching far beyond its localized inquiry. We had a fantastic group of nominees this year and are happy to present two honorable mentions. Alicia Hernandez Grande, Stumbling Over History, Stolperstein and the Performance of Memory in Spain Streets, published in Theater Research International, and Maisha Akbar, Performing Multiculturalism, the Turkish Ensemble at the Schaubühne, published in Theater Journal. Congratulations to all.
On behalf of the committee, we are very pleased to award the Oscar Brockett Essay Prize this year to Dr. LaDonna L. Forsgren for her fabulously written essay entitled The Wiz Redux, or Why Queer Black Feminist Spectatorship and Politically Engaged Popular Entertainment Continue to Matter. This essay was a standout for its focus on reception theory. It situates queer Black feminists as the ideal spectator, and this move calls on the crucial relationship between production and on-screen representational power, in which artists of color shape the outcomes of signifying at every level of the theater production. In so doing, the essay reveals the power of the Wiz as canonical and popular musical theater, and at the same time, a subversive, transgressive, and also pleasurable work of political performance. Congratulations, LaDonna.
After careful consideration, the Sally Baines Publication Prize goes to Selby Wynne Schwartz for The Bodies of Others, Drag Dances and Their Afterlives. This sharply written, enjoyably lucid, and carefully theorized book offers drag as a framework for rethinking embodiment as a complex phenomenon, forcing us to attend to the relationship between the surface of the body, the visual, and kinesthetic experience, bodily action, as well as the relationship between gesture, choreography, and embodiment. This book paves the way for future work on drag dances both on and off the stage, and invites us to continue to think through what it means for differently racialized and gendered bodies to engage in the embodiment of others, a practice that is itself at the heart of dance and theater's circulation and transmission. We also wish to give 2 honorable mentions to Mayra Goldberg for Sonidos Negros on the Blackness of Flamenco, and to Kate Elswit for Theater and Dance from the Theater and series. Congratulations to everyone.
I am delighted to present this year's Errol Hill Award, which is given in recognition of outstanding scholarship in African American theater, drama, and performance studies, as demonstrated in the form of a published book-length project or scholarly article. The Errol Hill Award alternates between books and articles every other year. This year, we awarded the top article in the field. The winner of this year's Errol Hill Award is Kemi Adeyemi's essay, Beyond 90 Degrees, The Angularities of Black, Queer, Women, Lean, published in Women and Performance. This eloquently written essay is innovative and timely, drawing from the works of Rashad Newsom's performance Shade Compositions as a case study. Kemi asks to dislodge our vertical and horizontal primary ways of being, and instead offers new angular orientations to understand the materiality of Black, queer women with an aim of creating pathways towards a more livable future. Thank you for your exceptional work, and congratulations, Kemi.
I'm delighted to announce the recipients of this year's Barnard Hewitt Awards. This year, in addition to the main prize, we have 2 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention goes to Donatella Galela's America in the Round, Capital, Race, and Nation at Washington, D.C.'s Arena Stage. America in the Round offers a nuanced, multivalent view of the history of Arena Stage. The committee admired it as a meticulously researched work of theater history and a much-needed interrogation of regional theater as a space for the negotiation of thorny issues in American identity politics. The second honorable mention goes to Sandra Ruiz's Ricanness, Enduring Time in Anti-Colonial Performance. Ricanness is a beautifully written exploration of colonial bodily endurance and resistance across a range of aesthetic and political performances. The committee was taken with the eloquence and timeliness of this endeavor to salvage the neglected bodies of the colonial enterprise and make visible the potential of activism against a history of violence. Finally, this year's Barnard Hewitt Award goes to K. Mira Goldberg's Sonidos Negros on the Blackness of Flamenco. Sonidos Negros is a dynamic, highly original exploration of the Black African presence in flamenco over more than 4 centuries. The committee found this to be a field-changing book that reveals the rich implications of flamenco, opening theater studies to a fascinating, complex history and an archive that transforms our understanding of this form. Congratulations to all 3 of this year's awardees.
Hello, I am Sandra Richards, Professor Emerita from Northwestern University. This year, I had the distinct pleasure of chairing the committee charged with recommending a distinguished scholar for the association's consideration. Now, the Distinguished Scholar Award is given each year to a person whose body of work has made a significant contribution to the field of theater, dance, opera, or performance studies, and to our association. Here to introduce the 2020 Distinguished Scholar is Professor Tracy C. Davis. Thank you.
Hello. Our honoree exemplifies a career deeply principled and consequential both to theater researchers and theater makers. I'll tell you a little bit about this, then you'll see for yourself the extraordinary person whose curiosity has taken so many forms. Our honoree has been a writer, dramaturg, and director on 68 professional productions, fostering new work with a long list of companies, including, most recently, Red Snow Collective, Native Earth Performing Arts, and Modern Times Stage Company. Meanwhile, our honoree's commitment to scholarly organizations is notable, having given wise counsel as VP of the Canadian Association for Theatre Research, ATHA, and ASTR. I cannot take time to enumerate the huge array of program committees, editorial boards, award juries, and other forms of service from which we have benefited. We recognize our honorees' prolific output of about 10 dozen essays and a host of notable books, including Theater and Interculturalism, Reading the Material Theater, and most recently, Performing the Intercultural City, as well as the excellent edited books, The Cambridge Companion to International Theater Festivals, Performing Indigeneity, co-edited with Yvette Nolan, and 2 volumes of Staging Coyote's Dream, co-edited with Monique Mojica, that followed an earlier preoccupation in Shakespeare studies. Our honoree has an astonishing record as editor of scholarly journals, several simultaneously. Anyone who published with our honoree knows of the grace, insight, and devotion brought to these endeavors. Publishing is one indicator of depth of knowledge, but our honoree has also taught classes across the broadest gamut of the curriculum. And so with a full heart and imagining a second line waiting at the door to fate you through the French Quarter, I offer these Mardi Gras beads in celebration to University Professor Emeritus of the School of English and Theatre at the University of Guelph, ASTR's 2020 very distinguished scholar, Rick Knowles.
Amazing.
Rick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Alas, in theater studies.
Thank you, and happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Alas, in theater studies, we're not a Nobel eligible field, and so we don't know what night to stay up late and wait for that magical phone call from Stockholm or Oslo. But I gather that this came as something of a surprise to you. I wanted to ask you about, say, some of the work you've been doing for the last 20 years as a dramaturg and literary advisor and consultant with Asian Canadian, Africa Canadian, and other theater makers. How did that come about, and how did it develop over time?
Oh boy, that's a big question. I think that, I suppose it starts with my own training was not in theater, was in literary studies. I came late to theater, and I came to theater before I came to theater studies. So I was a practitioner, and I was reading, you know, stuff by the cultural materialists, by the materialist feminists, by later critical race theorists, post-colonial scholars, and so on. And I decided, I guess I came to a kind of political enlightenment about scholarship, my own personal late enlightenment, and realized that there was an awful lot of work to be done, even in my own backyard, about difference in theater. And so I got myself a grant as a scholar and to work on intercultural performance. And while doing that, I talked to people, former students, other people, and I ended up anyway getting hired to work as a dramaturge with several culturally specific and intercultural theater companies, partly as research for my scholarly work and partly as my own creative activity. And you know, I've been hugely lucky. And like most people who are lucky, I realize that my luck comes from the privilege of being a white settler Canadian cisgendered male to whom luck comes from white privilege and I'm sorry to say also systemic racism. So I found myself welcomed by very generous BIPOC people into their rehearsal halls and developing relationships and developing trust over the years. And I couldn't have done any of that without these people. I've been privileged. And it's interesting now. I'm really aware right now, as as we're having this conversation, I know that by the time people hear it, an election will have happened, and we don't know now what will have happened. But this time of COVID, of that election going on, and of Black Lives Matter and Indigenous people fighting for their rights and the protests that are going on, who knows where that will be? And it's kind of scary by the time people watch us do this interview. But I'm really hoping, you know, that somehow the kind of work that I contribute in tiny, tiny ways to, but the people I've worked with have been doing, and others have been doing, can actually make a difference in this election, I hope, by the time it's over, and in this social movement that's really exciting. It's, you know, I remember the civil rights movement. I'm old enough to remember that as a kid. And this is the most exciting moment in that regard since. So while I feel as a old white guy, maybe somebody else should be getting this award, I also hope that I've managed a little bit to participate in those movements.
Well, Rick, on the scholarly side, you've done more journal editing than, well, anybody. And you confessed to me recently that you didn't write your first book till you were nearly 50. And I'm not going to encourage anybody to do the math, but a lot has happened in terms of your publication since then. What's next for you?
Well, as you know, I'm professor emeritus now, so next is lying on the couch and doing nothing, I think. No, all seriousness aside, I'm currently working on a project called International Theater Festivals and the 21st Century Trafficking Cultures, which brings together some of the work I did early on international theater festivals with the work I've been doing more recently on interculturalism. And that's, I've already edited a couple of volumes coming out of that project and have a book manuscript that's nearing completion. I've got an article that's nearing completion on that. So I'm going to work away at that for a little while. And if festivals ever happen again, I'll be traveling to them and thinking about that and writing about that. I can't see myself branching into anything outside of interculturalism at this point as a scholar. But I am actually, one of the reasons I retired was to do more work in the theater. And I'm doing that. I'm working with, again, a couple of intercultural companies on new work, new play development, devised work, stuff like that. So inevitably, for me anyway, doing that kind of work as an artist also leads to doing work as a scholar on those same companies and on that same work. So inevitably, I'll be working in that kind of area, probably not doing a lot more books, but articles, smaller pieces, that kind of thing, contributing where I can.
Rick, as we close, do you have any advice for people new to the field?
Boy, I'm out of date. So I know it's hugely difficult for people new to the field. Biggest advice maybe comes from your comment that I didn't do my first book till I was 50. I'm not, or almost 50. I'm not recommending that, but if you're like me, a slow learner or a slow starter, keep at it, keep doing the work. Articles are great, editing is great. Having worked as an editor, I knew I was up to date on almost everything that was going on in the field because I was seeing the new work that was coming in all the time. And I worked for as an editor for about 15 years on 3 different journals and quite a few books, I guess. So I would encourage anybody to get involved in the editorial team of any of our great journals.
That's great to hear. And I would say not a slow starter, but a multi-starter. Thanks so much, Rick, and congratulations.
Thank you, Tracy, and thanks to everybody at ASTR.
Once again, congratulations to the awardees for all your contributions. As I reflect on my 3 years as VP for awards, I would say that I've gained some skills in learning to plan with lots of uncertainty. I began with an unconventional award ceremony in San Diego, and I have also ended that way. Despite it all, it has been such a joy, honor, and privilege to serve. I would be remiss if I did not extend my gratitude to those of you who served on the award committees. I greatly appreciate your time, energy, and labor. A big shout out to Marla Carlson, Jimmy Noriega, Amy Sigmansky, and the entire EC for their leadership. I will miss our time together. Finally, I'm so delighted to pass the baton to the marvelous Katie Zien. Thank you so much. It has been a privilege and honor to serve. Hopefully, we will see each other next year in San Diego. This now concludes the 2020 award ceremony.